What is up, YouTube? So today I am going to be going over warding. I'm going to cover how to ward, when to ward, where to ward on every role. That's the goal. Hopefully my mic sounds good. I have a new mic. I haven't really recorded just YouTube with it yet. I've streamed with it. So hopefully it's nice. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get into this. Pretty much I'm gonna start off with jungling. Obviously, it's the easiest for me to explain. And then we'll move on from there. To begin with, you can ward before the game starts on any jungler. You can get away with it. You drop buying a mana pot usually in that situation, and you run out and ward, then run back to base, buy all your items. When you do that, you either ward aggressively or defensively. If the other team has a better 2v2 fight, if the other team's jungle solo is better than yours, then you may want to ward defensively. This area is a good spot. Let me make this red so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. So this area would be a really good spot. Here is pretty good, and here, any of those three areas. This sorry, this is because they can come in through this way to invade, then come in this way, then come in this way, then come this way. So basically, whichever you don't ward is where you want to be watching with your actual eyes or having the solo lane look for it. That's just pretty much how it's going to work for invades. If you just kind of want to have sight on them, you don't think they're going to invade, you can ward their speed in this area, or you can ward in here to see when they actually clear the blue. That way you'll know if you have time after clearing your own blue. If you out clear them, you'll know if you have time to come and get the mids, or if they will just end up getting there at the same time as you. So that's the beginning, start of the game, wards, whatever. Your first back, you're usually going to finish boots. If you don't finish boots, then you're going to buy a ward. Sometimes I even buy 2 wards, and I like to have those aggressive wards because it's very common for junglers to back at level 5. So they want to back, get their mana, get their boots finished, and then try to fight with that ult they just got. So what you do is you back maybe a few seconds before them, grab 2 wards, and you can ward their speed buff and their red buff. That way, when the jungler's pathing up the lane, he's going to path here and do backcams and then try to go either solo lane, or he's going to come down the lane, he's going to go to these backcams and then look to go to duo lane. If he doesn't do that, he'll be middle and you'll definitely see him, so it doesn't really matter if he goes middle. Those 2 wards, the red ward, speed ward, as a jungler, they're easy for you to place because you're roaming the map. You're not really going too far out of your way. You're also going to have timers on their buffs and be able to invade if you need to, or if you want to, whatever. So that's the idea behind those wards. If you can't really get off aggressive wards, which occasionally happens, you're already behind, whatever, the best wards in my opinion are offensive wards still. They may not be as deep, but offensive wards are always going to be better. Warding the mid lane right here is really solid. You want to use a regular ward in this area. Using a regular ward here allows you to know if the mid lane and jungler are going to gank the duo lane or if they're going to gank the solo lane. You can see them leave the lane with that ward. It's a really strong ward, and it's also really strong because not many people are going to counter ward it. It's not really worth it to counter ward. It doesn't counter ward very often, so it's guaranteed vision, unless you then if they don't want to walk over that ward, they'll change their pathing up and it'll waste time, which is really strong. Other good wards, your counter warding places. I like to counter ward their side of mids. It's just really aggressive. If they don't have vision there, they can't pass safely. You'll know when they leave the lane. You'll know, like, they won't know if you're there. They'll have to play passive. They can't just run into the jungle and be safe. So it's a really strong ward for counter wards. Also, as a jungler, it's okay to help your other lanes. If you have a solo lane that's playing a mage and he's getting ganked a lot or he's worried, you can drop regular wards in this area in here to try to make sure that they don't get ganked through the fire giant. You can put wards on their blue, you can put wards on their speed. It's kind of those same wards just to help out. Those wards aren't as common. The most common wards are going to be deep wards for you as a jungler at their speed, at their red, at the mid camps are really good. And then if you know they're warding, you're playing to be aggressive, you're trying to get some good ganks off, it's also valuable to counter ward your side of mids. Whichever lane you're focusing more on, it's good to counter ward those sides. So your side of mid harpies for duo lane, your side of mid harpies for the solo lane over here. Both of those are really strong when you are having trouble getting positioning and getting ganks off. Basically, you're gonna stop their warding, they're not gonna know where you are, your ganks are gonna be hopefully more successful. It's always good to help out with gold fury wards. Those are going to be common if your team is slacking, but for you alone, when you're focusing on yourself, red wards, speed wards, mid wards, regular mid lane wards. So these 5 areas are going to be your main points of warding. You got regular ward at speed, regular ward at red, you got counter wards at the mid camps, and you have a regular ward in the mid lane. And then aside from that, you're going to have counter wards on gold, counter wards on your side of mid. Remember, you can only place 2 wards at a time, so it's important not to waste too much gold on your wards. It's also important to try to stagger your wards. You don't want to drop both at the exact same time, because then they both fall off at the exact same time, so you lose vision. So if you and a teammate does that the exact same time, you all have 4 wards down and they just disappear, all your vision's gone, and it's actually really frustrating to have to both of you have to back then and get wards and try to make sure you don't lose gold fury, try to make sure that your teammates don't get ganked. It's not a good position for you as a jungler. So those are the jungling wards. Now we'll move on to mid. Mid laners are a little bit different. They can't path around like a jungler and ward speed, ward red, ward wherever they want. It's really just common for them to safe ward. Your mid laner can drop that regular ward in the middle lane. A lot of mid laners in ranked and even casuals do this. So look for your mid laner to be doing that, or as a mid laner, look to be warding the mid lane just so you know where your mid lane's going. You always know when they leave. Aggressive wards on their side of mids, also good. It just helps you for pathing. The most common wards, however, though, are going to be your side of mids, counter warding. Counter warding this because it gives you that little bit of position for rotations. The only downside is it's not the best for avoiding ganks. So it's gonna be awesome if you know that their jungler is just sitting right here, right? He's just sitting here waiting for you to come into the jungle. He's sitting over here waiting for you. He's sitting at mids waiting for you. That's awesome. That is going to avoid those ganks, but it's not going to avoid the ganks when the mid laner's a Thor and he's pathing in through their side of mid harpies. He's pathing in through Gold Fury. He's pathing in through Fire Giant. He's even wrapping around all the way through speed buff. So there's different pathing. For the better jungler, the more aware the jungler is, if he knows where your wards are, he's going to avoid them. You have aggressive wards, it's really hard to avoid. A lot of time they're not going to know they're there. It's not as common. It's also just, it's preemptive vision. You know that someone is coming. You know someone's on that side of the map. You know to avoid that side of the map. That's why more aggressive deep wards are better, in my opinion. Defensive wards, when they're used defensively, are bad. Defensive wards, when they're used for you to rotate, I think those are strong. But like warding right next to you in mid camps, not gonna save you that many times unless you're just playing super passive anyway. I don't like playing the passive game. Most people do not want to play the passive game. Also, as a mid laner, a lot of your wards are going to be going onto the Gold Fury. Besides the support and you, like the support, probably going to be prominent in the Gold Fury wards. Mid, probably second behind that, and then jungler, probably third behind that. So look to drop a lot of counter wards and make sure you do not lose vision on the Gold Fury. Anytime you guys are backing, if you don't have vision on Gold Fury, it becomes a threat. It pulls your team out of position, allows them to get caught because they're checking Gold Fury. They could go in 1v5 and not even know it, 1v4, whatever. Having wards on Gold Fury, having wards around these objectives is also important because most solo laners have teleport now. So you as another lane warding actually helps your solo laner, which is really strong. And there's no way your solo laner is going to ward that side of the map. We will go ahead and jump into the support wards. So like I was saying, oh, sorry about that, guys. Like I was saying, support wards, pretty much the same as mid, in my opinion. A lot of supports ward the mid harpies, both sides, counter wards, regular wards. You just got to pay attention to what wards the other team is dropping. So more than likely going to be that duo side of the map, less likely to be this side of the solo lane, unless a lot of fights are happening over there. So make sure you're paying attention to that as a support. Make sure you have those Gold Fury wards locked down. Do not lose vision of the Gold Fury. And then your secondary, or I guess it might even be main more for you, depending on how the ganks are going. A lot of your wards are going to go into the purple buff area on both sides of the map. Keeping this vision clear on your side of the purple buff with counter wards is important. Also keeping vision on their side of the purple buff, it can avoid ganks. It's just good to have the vision and the knowledge of where they are when their purple buff's up, that kind of stuff. Usually it's going to be on the same timer as your purple buff, but some games that doesn't happen. But also your jungler, if he's playing and warding correctly, he's going to be warding this red. So you can have pretty much this whole side of the map locked down. If your jungler is warding red, you're warding purple, and your mid's warding the mid harpies, they can't get to you on this side of the map. There's no way they get to you on this side of the map without you knowing, unless your eyes are closed or you don't use a mini map. There's no way. So those three wards, I guess those two wards as a support are really, really strong, really, really important. And aside from that, until you move over to the late game, That's where your wards are mainly focused on this duo side of the map. Late game, you're obviously going to be warding both mid harpies to keep vision for yourselves, make sure they can't see where you are, and fire giant. Fire giant's probably your #1 priority after maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes, somewhere in there, depending on how the game is going. Your team can help you with that. As an ADC, I know a lot of ADCs do not ward. I know the ones that do focus a lot also on purple, helping out their support with those, and Gold Fury when the support has the purple buffs covered. So like I said, just don't get yourself out of position. You're not a jungler. Junglers usually have a lot more mobility and are a lot safer to path around and ward where they want. So as an ADC, make sure you're safe about warding the purple. Make sure you keep your purple clear, and make sure you never lose Gold Fury vision. Losing Gold Fury vision is bad unless your ADC can keep track of the other ADC. If the other ADC can get out of the lane without you knowing, you're going to be in a rough spot. Probably going to lose Gold Fury or get yourself killed, one or the other. At least at high level of play, that's what happens. Finally, we'll go over to the solo lane. Solo lane is easy as shit. Ward blue if you need to in this area. Ward around Fire Giant if they have a Thor. This is mainly if you're worried about getting ganks, or even here. This last ward I'm marking is really defensive. It means there's someone there, I need to get the hell out. The purple buff wards are usually gonna be like, all right, someone's coming, I can either fight this or I can't, or I can tell my team to rotate. Same with the fire ward, it's like, okay, someone's about to ult, I need to run. Later in the game, it kind of shifts. Obviously late game, you'll ward fire every once in a while, you'll help. It's really good to help your team. When you start teleporting, it can be good to have counter wards with you, or a counter ward. If you teleport, you drop a ward and clear their final buff, you can really bait people in as a solo, because you don't want to waste that teleport. So make sure, if you're looking to play that aggressive game, that bait game, teleport over, drop a counter ward wherever you think they have vision, and then just bait them in. It's really strong. When I say that, usually you're going to bait them in, you're going to be sitting around this area, you can counter ward the mid harpies, you can counter ward purple, maybe even on gold your team didn't have a counter ward, so you teleported over, counter warded, and your team can bait the Gold Fury. Solo or warding a solo lane is a little bit less frequent. You really don't ward that much. Really late game when they need help warding Fire Giant is where you start to impact the game wards wise. Hopefully this guide helped you. I kind of went over it really quickly. I can break it down in game. I've been thinking about doing that, but I really do feel like just marking these places on the map, you guys can kind of understand. The timing of when you're doing these things is really important. Like if Gold Fury just died, you don't need to go counter ward Gold Fury. If purple buff just, I don't know, you just had a fight at purple buff and they counter warded you, you don't need to go counter ward them again. Like it's okay to not have that vision for a short period of time, but you want to make sure you're not wasting gold, obviously, but then make sure you do recover the vision at whatever point that is. And as I mentioned when I was saying you need to stagger your wards, that's also important as a team, not just as yourself. Make sure everyone's not placing all their wards at the exact same time. It's common for you to realize there's no wards in the map and you say, hey guys, we need a ward, and then everyone goes and buys a ward and then drops it around the same 10 to 15 second mark, then they all disappear at the same time. That's not good. So make sure as a team you're acknowledging the fact that you do not want to have all your wards going down at the exact same time. You stagger them, use your wards properly, protect your wards. Wards are really good for baiting. If you're warding an objective, the other team's going to come try to counter ward it, you can have your team set up to defend it. That's important too. Hopefully this helps a little bit. Hopefully you guys haven't been wasting wards. Like I said, focus on not putting defensive wards down. Defensive wards aren't that good. If you are an ADC and you're warding defensively, you have no aggressive wards on this side of the map. So you have no wards in this area, right? You have no wards on Gold Fury or higher, and you're warding right here with a regular ward. So you don't even know if they have vision there. That ward is not going to help you very often. Most of the time you'll be fighting in this area as an ADC and someone can come in and fight this way, or come straight in here and fight. Like, it's not going to save you. You can get Thor ulted, you can get Thanatos ulted, you can get Mercury ulted down the lane. Those visions aren't that vision is not going to help you very often. Be aggressive with your wards, be offensive with your wards. They will make you more successful, I promise. So hopefully this video helped you guys. Like, subscribe, comment. We've seen a lot of growth on the channel. I'm really happy about it. I'm really surprised about it. Check out the stream and I can break down any questions you guys have. I can also answer questions in the comments, so make sure you drop those questions down there. I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, this you crazy mother.